So guys, when I fitted the Rally Raid racks, if you've watched that video, I decided at that time to dispense with the rear footrest because I don't carry passenger, not insured to do so, and I want to set the bike up for me. So that was a weight which I got rid of because they are quite reasonably heavy. So it served no purpose for me, and I put these two webbing strap hooks on. Have used them and they worked well. I'll have to wait and see when I get my new bag, the horseshoe one. Well, I'll have to see how all that fits, but certainly how I'm using the Oxford Aqua T50, these work great. And at that time, if you recall, if you've seen the video, I did think about the other side and how I deal with that, because on the other side the footrest also is the mount to just support the exhaust. And at that point I did think in terms of getting an engineer, local workshop to fabricate something up to fit, and then actually I found one that's already made, a nice high quality piece of steel, very similar to the Rally Raid gear, from R&G, who do, I think Rally Raid sells some R&G gear, so I did find one specially for the 2019 onward model. A little bit expensive maybe, probably around about the, I don't know, God, I do forget how much I pay for things, but maybe the 60-70 quid mark maybe. So quite a bit of money, but it's built for the job, and I just decided to buy it, fit it and see and go with that. In some respects I'd have had to wait to get somebody to fabricate, then it's trial and error. This should fit perfectly and do the job, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this off and fit the new R&G exhaust bracket, and that's the bit of kit. Nicely engineered, nice feel to it. It comes with a couple of new bolts for the top to replace these, but I'm thinking I might continue to use them depending, like I did on the other side. However, there's two bolts for that, and a new bolt and nut with a couple of washers for the bottom exhaust clamp. So I'm going to fit that now, and we'll see if it works. Right guys, we're going to take this bracket off, the footrest, and we're going to fit the R&G replacement exhaust bracket. So all we're going to do now is just remove this and then just offer the new bracket up to see how it looks, and then we'll bolt it back on. Not so sure at the moment whether I'm going to retain these bolts and use them or use the new bolts. I'll see what it looks like. I think that's the best thing I could do there. That's the top two bolts off, and now we just need a 12 spanner, and as it is, a 12 socket. There we go. So that's the bracket footrest removed. There's a washer on the back side of it, which, oh no, it's a bolt, sorry. Oh, no washer, just a bolt. And all the rest of the gubbings here would appear to stay with the footrest. So I'll just bolt that back on, screw that back on, and that footrest is now discarded. Well, I'll keep it safe. Just putting a bit of copper grease on here. You probably don't need to, but I just like to think eventually it'll come off. Okay, so that is going to fit just exactly like that. One hopes. Yeah. That's the original bolts. And that's the ones that come supplied. I think I'm going to go with the original bolts. And I've also got one of my little strapping points, which I might fit there. I'm going to leave that off for now. I'm going to fit this, and then I'll sort that out at a later stage. So, put a bit of fresh Loctite on the existing bolts. Oh. So now that I think, in all honesty, when we put this on, they were the last two things to be fastened up, so I think I'm going to loosen them off just to make the job easier for me to get on. Right, so I've loosened that off now, because thinking how we fit it, we actually fit this whilst this was loose. So, because that's a precision, can't say the word, that's engineered to fit exactly like that. That at the back would throw this out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is fit that, I'll try anyway, over that. Just a bit of a fiddle, isn't it? Okay, so a bit of trial and error here. I've taken that bolt out for now, loosened that one off. I've offered the R&G exhaust bracket where it should be, which is directly to the bike, and then I'm going to just slip this bolt that's due to go in there. I'll put that in before I start tightening anything up. And I think it's just a case, I'll just have to be a bit, you know, careful tightening the whole thing up, but it should just tighten up solid. That's the plan anyway. Okay, so that goes in okay there. So that's in. So that actually looks fine. It's just how this will form, and I think it'll just, well, it will, I can see now, it'll just pull it in. So just make sure that still fits in there, and it does. So that's it, sort of loosely fitted. And I'm still thinking of fitting that basically to there. So I've got a tie down point. I think I'll do it now, simply because it'd be easier to do it now. Okay, so I've had a rethink. What we've ended up with now is the two D-ring webbing brackets, which, if you've seen the previous video, I fitted to the other side in exactly the same position. One straight because I don't know what position I want it. That one works with the Oxford T50 at that angle. So I've actually fitted them there. So we're still relatively we're not tightened up yet, just nipped up. So the original two bolts through there, you've now got the R&G exhaust bracket behind the Rally Raid rack bracket, the one that fits the bike. All looks fairly comfortable, you know, when I'm looking at it. And the bolt down here is the bolt that's supplied with the kit. The only thing to comment at this point is that the old fixing, the footrest, had a lot of rubber mount around this point here, whereas this has no rubber mounting at all. I suspect that's more to do with the footrest and damping a bit of the vibration on the footrest, but we'll see. Obviously the thought about it, nice bit of kit, R&G's well-renowned company for designing stuff. So that's it. So all we're going to do now is just nip it up and then torque it out. So oops, that's just nipped. Just nipping that so it's in that upright position. Oops. And then I'll nip these two back here. It's actually lined up a little bit better than I was anticipating. I thought it was just going to be a bit awkward to line up again, but it's just naturally got itself lined up where it needs to be. Getting rid of the two footrests saves substantial weight, and I say substantial, it just saves weight, because one of the things is that when you start putting things on, like these Rally Raid racks, like the sump guard that'll go on, basically everything that you're putting on, you know, if you put crash bars on, everything weighs. So whereas the bike is less than 200 kilogram, and that's one of the reasons I bought this bike, is for a lighter weight bike compared to what I've been used to. By adding everything, you're adding a little bit of weight. It's not that substantial, but just little things I've noticed, like getting rid of the footrest if you can, and I can, allows to compensate for some of the weight that you're putting on. And the only thing I'll have to do, which I mentioned in my previous video, is when it comes around to an MOT time, I'll just have to put the two rear footrests on to get through the MOT. Unless the MOT chap is a real proper motorcyclist and is okay about it, but I suspect I'll have to put them on. But it won't be a problem, it's quite a quick fix. Longest time for fitting anything new is when you first do it. Obviously once you've fitted it, then the next time round it's pretty straightforward. Right, so for all intents and purposes that's now fitted. The only thing I'm going to do is just put the torque wrench and torque these up. But just to give you a close-up, that's taking a substantial bulk away, and I guess with a exhaust which is a little bit trimmer as well, that's going to take more weight off. Yeah, so all in all, even though it's cost a little bit of money, that bracket, it's a really neat job, and I'm very pleased with it. So obviously we'll have to wait and see when I test ride it, but for now, thumbs up from me.